Where is everybody? What the hell's going on here? Yeah, I got stuff to do.
Welcome to the Pitside Podcast, where we discuss the latest news and developments in the GForce Racing League, as well as other racing news inside and out of iRacing. Now here's your hosts, the A-Lit Outlaw, Preston Cranmer, and Roger, the Bassman Craig.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I'm really not sure what happened there, but this is the 26th episode of the Pitside Podcast, and it is absolutely loaded with information. You're going to want to stick around all the way to the end. We have all of the executive committee are going to come on and tell you a little bit about what we have going on next season, changes, that kind of thing. We do also have a Bigfoot sighting, basically our white whale. We have finally chased down. Joe Backus is on the show. We're going to lead off with Joe in just a minute. And we also have Rob Neller from Icon Sim Sports, who, if you watch the podcast regularly, you've probably seen him before. But he's back with some special stuff that he's got going on. He's also sponsoring the Hometown Hero Series on Wednesday. So we're really excited to have all these guys on this week. So, Roger, if you have anything to add, now's your chance. Otherwise, we're just going to dive into it.
Yeah, I'm just sitting, looking at you in that seat. It looks like you try to keep a sprint car under control going down the back straight. I've seen that before when I've been spotting for you.
Oh, so, yeah, I'm in a different seat today, so it's a little bit easier for me to move around. I didn't realize I was doing it.
Yeah, no, I've seen that same look down the straightaways on a Monday night.
Yeah, I guess you're watching replays of your race or something. Yeah, that's probably true. Anyway, we're gonna dive right in here. We're gonna start off with a hilarious interview we had with Joe.
Yeah.
We'll start with him, go right into the interview with Rob Neller, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more.
Yep. Sasquatch is in the house.
So we are back, and I can't believe it has actually happened. The man, the myth, Joe Backus is here with us on the podcast, and Roger, isn't he a tall glass of water?
That is one tall drink of water there, buddy, I'll tell you. And I got to tell you, episode 26. Buddy, that's half a year we've been waiting. Where's Joe? Where's Joe Exotic? Where's 50-foot Joe? I mean, we've been asking for 25 weeks. Where the hell have you been, buddy?
Oh man, I got a wife and 2 kids, so you pretty much know how I spend my time outside of the virtual racing world, anyways. But it's all good. We have a lot of fun together.
So this is
great.
This is Joe's time, but Roger, do you want to explain the tall glass of water comment, or are we just going to go on past that?
It's usually, I have to, because it's usually a tall, skinny guy, the long drink of water. But yeah, that's where that came from.
Yeah, at least you left handsome out, right?
I left what?
Handsome.
Oh yeah, I did leave that out. I did, yeah. That's not part of it.
So as you guys may know, we've talked about Joe quite a bit. It's been a bit of a running meme on the podcast. Joe has actually on a couple of occasions been scheduled to come on, and then just completely canceled on us. I mean, with no regard for Roger and my time at all. You know, we spend hours doing this every week, but we're still glad to have Joe. Joe is on Kreitz Sim Racing with myself, on Coast to Coast with Roger and myself, and a handful of other guys. He's one of my best buddies as far as the virtual racing world goes, so he's a riot. So we're going to just let him do some stand-up comedy now. So we'll give you 10 or 15 minutes just to freewheel and do what you want. No. Anyway, but so Joe has...
I was just getting ready.
Joe's coming up with his knock-knock jokes. So Joe has been with us for a long time, and one of my favorite memories, I'm going to give you... Obviously, the name Joe comes with a lot of nicknames anyway, but Joe has earned some special nicknames throughout our time as originally the Oshweekend Outlaws and now GForce Racing Leagues. And one of my favorite calls, and Joe, I think you probably still have the video saved, but tell us a little bit about how you earned the nickname 50 Foot Joe.
So when Ashweekend all got started, it was just Roger, pretty much. And there was a group of guys, maybe we had 20 guys that regularly showed up. Well, this was not broadcasted. It was just something that we did for fun. Yep. He based it off of no call-outs, good, hard, clean racing, and that's what I wanted to be a part of. And to be honest, I was just about to get rid of iRacing because I didn't like the official races and just all the BS that goes with it. And then all of a sudden I found a post on Facebook about the Ashweekend Outlaws, and now it's grown into this, and it's literally I was there from this stuff, and now to where it is now, I can't even keep up with all the stuff you guys are doing.
Well, and then our very first broadcast. I mean, you remain in infamy in the whole GForce Historic Museum.
Yeah, I lost my train of thought there about halfway through that. I appreciate you bringing me back. Oh man! So Steve Ovens, he's got a great voice, right? And
yes,
he does. It was the first night of we were going to do a test run before we were going to do some like big 50 lapper, but you wanted to test the broadcast first. So I showed up, and actually a lot of the good racers in the league didn't show up that night for one reason or another. Just me.
You could have left that out.
You should have left that out.
Well, to be honest, it was a stacked field, and it was. I ran away with it. The only person that maybe could have beat me was Raph.
So, I think actually if you go back to that was Steve and his brother Brad were running in our league at the time, and they worked at the real track. So that was their first. It was a trial for them as much as us because they didn't. It was the first time they'd ever done a race, but it was great. And 50 Foot Joe. So did you win or lose by 50 feet? I can't remember. I think somebody ran out of gas and you passed them. So 50 feet to go.
Yeah. I was actually, me and Kevin Fry were battling for third, and he went to the bottom to search for grip. I remember this like it was yesterday. He went to the bottom, and I did the slider line, went right around him like he was standing still. And Jordan Hack was way out front, and the reason he was way out front was because he didn't have enough gas to finish the race. In my opinion, that's why he was so fast. And then good old 50 feet with a full tank just comes barreling around the corner. Bang, bang, bang! Game's over, baby.
So that was the famous call. Is Joe passed, and I have no idea if the 50 feet was the actual amount of space, but Joe coming to the finish line passes Jordan Hack for the win, and Steve comes across the radio. Jordan Hack is out of fuel. Joe Backus wins. Joe Backus wins by 50 feet, and so from then on, we've called Joe 50 Foot Joe, and that was we weren't on the team then. And so even then, like looking back on it, it's a fond memory for me because for the league, that was a big night. That was even though it's a test, it was still our first broadcast.
And not only that, the fact that I won. If Preston would have won, it would have been all right. But it'd have
been pretty good.
What a great memory! Also, I'll have to send you guys the video when this is over.
Oh yeah, we posted on the in the lounge.
No, send it to me. I'll put it on the podcast. We can watch it. Watch it.
Okay, yeah. We should end the broadcast with that because it's an awesome call. It was an awesome call.
Absolutely. It's got my Snapchat text on it, but it'll be all right.
Now I'm going to ask you another question, and I mean no offense by this whatsoever. So I know you won that race, and you just completed Race of Champions event because you won a Rebels race this season. Have you won? Now I know there's been some other divisions, but as far as our tiered 360s, have you won any other races other than those?
Yeah. So I won that test trial. Then there was a second one at Volusia that I won that same year, or that same season, excuse me. And then this last one I won was that Rebels race at Eldora.
Gotcha.
I don't do so good with the bull ring tracks. I don't know if that's me or.
Yeah.
Well, I think
You know what?
those bull ring tracks come down to the amount of track time you get. Like they're drivers tracks. It's not as setup dependent. So if you can't spend the time to put in 150 laps like the guys that are winning those races practicing, you're at a disadvantage, or a bigger disadvantage than you are on the bigger sweeping corner tracks.
Absolutely, I'll agree with that. You can just step right in with no practice and compete with somebody if you've got set up. And luckily enough, we have John Short on our team.
You're right about that.
Yeah, good old Shorty.
It's just,
But I just got to jump in and say this is an awesome. I didn't realize how special this is. The league is now, we're well over 300 members. And we clean. If you don't race with us this season, you're gone. So we've had I think 170 members since Christmas time. Calder's going crazy doing all the recruiting. But so there's a lot of guys around. I mean, we were there in the beginning. You just telling that story. It's so nostalgic. Those were the beginning times. It was just two races one night a week, and that first broadcast, it was a huge deal. And I can remember that. The way you won that first race, they were like, "This is just awesome." So,
you didn't race in that,
did you?
Did you race in that race?
I might have just did. No, I think I had Minded or something like that.
Yeah, I think you were in the announcers booth. I remember.
Well, that or I think we might have had divisions by then, and of course I was already working my way down. So
Possibly.
Yeah, but no, I was. That's a great moment. I mean, that's a couple of years ago, and just a fledgling little league, and now it's just like you say, it's crazy. So tonight, interesting story. So we had this is race number 2 of the Race of Champions, and we had the jumpy trucks, as we call them, the Pro Light 2s at Lernerville, and Joe was in that race. And tell us what happened, Joe, during the race there.
So I don't even remember what place it started. I transferred through the B main. I think I started in 11th and got up to 9th, which I would have been happy with 9th. I thought, oh boy, I can tell the boys I got a top 10. This is going to be great. I get pinched in that front stretch wall, and it was later in the race, so I had kind of climbed up the wall and then rolled over.
I remember seeing that, yeah.
So, caution comes out. I wait for everybody to go by. Of course, I don't get my spot back, which is fine. At least I'm still racing. That was my theory. And then, all right, I'm in 20th. Get back to 5th. So now I'm thinking, I got a shot at the podium possibly. If I can maybe bump and run some of these guys, they're not going to like hearing that. I'm sure. But, to be honest, I don't care. I've never been accused of being the cleanest driver. I will say that, but I try not to have people's stuff for sure.
No, but we were talking about this earlier, Preston and I. With those trucks, there's leaning. That is part of that run, and we were having that discussion with Joe earlier tonight. So, anyways, but you were talking about your force feedback and stuff earlier. What happened?
Yeah, so I get back up to 5th, and I don't even know who I was racing around. We're going into 3, and I'm kind of trying to, like you said, lean on the guy on the outside of me, and then somebody comes on the inside of me and does the same thing to me, and it kind of jars my wheel. Next thing I know, both my Oculus sensors go off the table, and my screen is black, and all I can hear is, "We've got some engine trouble, buddy." Then it was over. I had to reset my Oculus app, and I would have had to get back into the race, and it would have been too late by that time, so I just shut her down. It was fun.
So are you gonna? So we're showing this on Sunday, and we're Wednesday night. So tomorrow night's the last race. It's Dallara at Daytona. Will you be there?
I believe the last Indy car race that we ran, I beat Preston by 20 seconds.
That's not important. Answer the man's question.
Yeah, he could be a politician.
Absolutely.
He could be a politician.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, so you're going to be going from 90 miles an hour to 230. It should be interesting.
Absolutely. I mean, with my pre-race routine that I go through, it feels like I'm floating out there. Just such a...
Can I give you a top tip from one of the top drivers in the league here. Tomorrow night, I wouldn't lean on anybody.
Yeah. All right, I'll keep that.
Yeah, it could be bad. That could be bad.
Tomorrow night is going to be well. Again, this is going to come out Sunday, so this will have already happened. But the Thursday night race, I'm making the prediction now that it is not going to be the equivalent of tonight's jumpy truck race with was it 2 or 3 cautions? I think it was 3 cautions.
Yeah.
I very much think the Daytona race and the Indy cars is going to be very different. But it has come down to a great battle. It's between Wayne Miller and Bobby Rafferty. They're 4 points apart going into the final. You look at it now. Wayne got he went for it at the end of the race, and so he actually got, because of Goldner. He tried to throw the slider, lost his momentum, and Goldner got him. But it's been Wayne and Rafferty 1-2 in both races, so it's been a fun battle for sure. Anyway, back to Joe. Sorry, buddy.
We'll see what we can do. I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. You're the lone representative between Crate Sim Racing and Coast to Coast, and I'm going to give a shout out to Bill Calder. Roger, if you want to throw your caveat in there, you can, but I'm going to shut you down anyway. Bill Calder won a matinee race today. I saw the results myself, and so technically, I don't think he was ready to run tonight, but he did win a race, so I think he should have been there.
Is he going to race tomorrow night then?
He could.
I don't know why he wouldn't.
No, maybe. Yeah.
I'll have to get him on the horn.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, it's his foot bothers him still, so he's still recovering from surgery, but. But it's interesting. Calder, congratulations to Bill on that. But hey, something else I want to talk about here, because I don't think many people know. Number one, I don't think anybody on our team, coast to coast, because we're all over. Terry's in California, Preston's up in Virginia, you're over in South Dakota, and a bunch of us are in Canada. But I revealed to the team one day that Joe actually lives further north than the 3 Canadian guys on the team. Yep. So that's kind of cool.
I had to look at it, and to be honest, it's darn close. I mean, it's
35 miles, I think. You're further north.
I was gonna say it's got to be miles, yeah. But I mean, you wouldn't think that looking at the map, but actually, when you get a ruler out or a level or whatever, however you want to do it, it's very slight. But I am further north than you. Just
well, you can get a level. You could get a level out because you know the Earth's flat, so that would work. But
so anybody that knows Joe and Roger, they are, because of this discussion of who's further north, it is a perfect example of how far north you are represents how sorry you are, because Joe apologizes more than anybody I've ever met in my life. He will tell the most offensive joke you ever heard, and before you even have a chance to say, "Jesus, Joe, that's terrible," he's already apologized.
That's the first time on the track Joe was in a race, and he said some smart ass thing about Canada. I don't know, and there was a long silence, and then he's just, I'm sorry, I didn't mean anything about it. No, that's the first time I'd ever had a discussion with Joe. But anyways, so Joe's from Crooks, South Dakota, but he was really impressed that I had been to the Corn Palace.
Yes,
and
then Corn Palace.
Yes, and but what a lot of people don't know is that you were a professional basketball player. You played basketball.
Yeah, I wouldn't say. I mean, if you take a look at my backdrop here, this isn't a professional basketball player's garage, obviously. This is my garage. It's pretty mundane. But I played in after college. I was invited to a camp in Gary, Indiana, and I played for a team there called the Gary Steelheads, and that's a team that's in the IBL. That's the International Basketball League. From there, I went to a small town, Eugene, Oregon. It's like where the Ducks play, Oregon Ducks and all that stuff, if you're familiar with the NCAAs. Played on a team there called the West Coast High Flyers. And then I was going to go to Uruguay, and that's when I said, I don't want to do this anymore. It's a strange country. I won't know anybody there. I played enough. It's over. I had fun. You'd still have to have a job outside of the game. And help yourself a lot. I got to get a job anyway. So it's at that point, so I just quit. Ended up working for my dad for a little bit.
And that's why you got that garage, and not if you would have kept the career up and gone to Uruguay and on to the NBA,
right.
You would have. But the other thing too is worth noting is I think you said a lot of your records in college still stand. That you hold college records.
There's one that I'm. I think most blocks in a season. I think I still have, or most blocks in a career. I can't remember which it is. But I'm in.
That's kind of like what you do. That transfers to the track.
Yeah, naturally. Last Saturday, I should have blocked Kyle Parker. I let that little sucker go right by me. I came upstairs kicking, spitting mad after that. God, that still makes me mad thinking about that. And I'd say, yeah, good race. And afterwards, Parker goes, yeah, I guess. Good run. Like, you son of a gun.
That's hilarious. So
we'll have to have Kyle on for a rebuttal.
Yeah, so that'll lead perfectly into the question that I asked.
It does.
And if you say Kyle Parker, I'm going to be a little disappointed at this point. But I ask every guest we have on, and I know you don't know this because you've never seen one of our podcasts, but
I haven't.
You bastard. Anyway, so who would you say in our league is your biggest rival on the track? And I want to preface this because I do ask this every week. If you say somebody that you don't get along with real well, that's okay. It doesn't mean that you're going to take them out or something. That's all right because we understand that happens. Or if it's somebody you get along with great and you see on the track all the time, that's fine too. So just to preface the question.
I don't know. That's tough. That's a tough question. Because I hate so many guys. I'm just kidding around. I'm just kidding. Oh.
There goes apologizing again.
But seriously though, it does depend on the vehicle.
We're talking sprints. Like that's what we do.
Monday night.
Yeah, Monday nights.
To be honest with you, I kind of gauge how I did off of Preston and Terry. Those are the two guys that I try to do my best to keep up with because I know we're running similar setups, and I like to see who's the better driver out of us.
Yeah,
clearly, you're not in the race of champions. So,
well,
I guess.
Well, I also drive in the Renegades division, and you drive in the Rebels. Yeah, but I will say that does make sense because anytime that Joe finishes in front of me on Monday nights, and you have been transferring to Renegades pretty frequently here lately, if Joe finishes in front of me or Terry or the rest of the team, which happened last week, we get a real passive-aggressive message on Discord. Hey, did anybody finish in the top 10 this week? And I said, oh, I didn't. And everybody else says, no, I don't think so. And Joe goes, oh, yeah, well, okay. Well, I guess I've just finished 9th then. Passive-aggressive as you wouldn't believe. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I just can't believe you guys aren't happier for me. I mean, I'm one of the most humble guys in the league. Never cause problems.
All right, Roger.
Actually,
go
ahead.
So you go ahead.
I was just going to say I rarely try to speak out or call out or do anything like that. I try to do my best, keep my mouth shut, and just.
Well, not in our Discord. Not in our Discord.
I was going to say, did you save it all for tonight?
Well, tonight I was
my question. Go ahead. Tonight you were what?
Tonight I was so lonely in the Discord room because you guys are in the broadcast room. So I was very foreign to going over Race Channel and talking on there. But I bet you I said something maybe 10, 13 times tonight. I felt out of my comfort zone. And then if somebody doesn't say anything to you after that, it's like, should I not have said that? Or just
difficult. No, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
So yeah, it was. We realized you were the only guy on the team, and Preston said we don't want to spend the night in the room alone with him, so we went out into the booth. That was what happened. My
It's all good.
question: your most memorable moment in iRacing, buddy? I think I know what it might be, but maybe I don't.
Probably that win. That win the first night that we did that
Yeah.
trial, especially because I got the call with it. I ran a better race at Eldora, my last race. That's probably my best race ever, as far as start to finish, keeping it clean. But there wasn't a call to it. I've got that footage on my phone as well, but it's just engine noise, and you don't even know when the race is over. So it's all good. But
Well, that's
probably
awesome,
that.
man. You know what? We'll have to have you back in another 26 episodes or something, because we know you. We'll wait until you watch one, and then we'll have you back. But
There you go.
But we've been wanting to do this. Well, for 26 weeks, we've been wanting to do this.
Well, let me just say, the most humble guy in the league. Somehow, I think this might be the episode he watches. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Oh yeah. And sends to his family, and it'll probably be in the store at Galen's Popcorn, running on a loop.
Go ahead and like and share, folks. Don't forget to subscribe.
Well,
there you go.
I will say, and you're missing the plug, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, if somebody does want to buy popcorn from Galen's, you can still use code C2C to get a discount. So,
Absolutely, I think it's a 20% discount, which is basically free shipping. If you think about it, depending on where you live. But yeah, it's GalensHomegrownPopcorn.com. I sent product to all the team. It's good stuff. You guys can attest to that.
oh yeah,
You got your regular.
it's
regular
so
butter.
good.
I mean, it's literally any flavor you want, and not only that, they come out with new flavors all the time, and it's seasonal flavors and all kinds of stuff. They got fudge cookies beyond popcorn. It's a really really cool thing that my uncle's got going on.
So I just want to say, and I've mentioned this privately before, but we're in a public forum now, so I'm going to mention it. What I want is the Kreitz Sim Racing checkered flag version, which is white chocolate and dark chocolate popcorn, and to have checkered flag popcorn that we can sell.
Now there's a thought.
There's a thought.
Yeah.
I mentioned it before. I don't know why you don't remember, but anyway.
It's
I'll tell you
probably
one thing. After that last little spiel, this will be on an endless loop at the Galen's Popcorn. I guarantee.
yeah, right.
Yeah, we're probably past due. This is a long episode, no doubt. Joe, we really appreciate you coming on. This is, for me personally, probably one of my favorite interviews we've done. We'll see if it actually makes it onto the podcast. I don't know if maybe there'd be some kind of hard drive failure or something that keeps it from showing up. But we appreciate you coming on, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. It's always a lot of fun. And I'll talk to you in 5 minutes when this is over.
Thanks a lot, Joe.
Yeah, we'll see you guys.
So that was Jumpin' Joe, Smoking Joe, 50-foot Joe, Sasquatch, whatever you want to call him. That was a lot of fun. I'm going to change gears here now. Speaking of changing gears, we're gonna go to high speed because the next segment here is just awesome. We're going to talk to Rob Neller, from Icon Sim Sports, with his latest build. He just finished. This is the latest release of his Elite R1, and the owner's coming to pick it up the day of this podcast is out, and so we got a chance to take an early peek and check this out. And we're here with one of our principal sponsors of the league, Rob Neller, and we always enjoy talking to Rob because he's always got something crazy and wild to show us. And this rig here, man, he's been treating us with shots through the build, and it's finally done. And tell us about it, Rob, because it's just spectacular just sitting there looking at it without knowing the details.
Well, thanks for having me on again, guys. I always love coming on you guys' show. Like on our last one that we were talking about, I was telling you that we were getting ready to develop the R1 Pro Elite, and this is it, the R1 Pro Elite. So it's basically kind of the same overall design as the R1 Pro, but this one has all the bells and whistles. It's actually about 4 inches wider to give you a little bit more cockpit space. The R1 Pro Elite comes with everything complete as you see it. So it comes with the integrated monitor mount. It has an integrated PC stand, which actually bolts into the front of it if you want it up there, or you can, it's kind of a standalone, and you can place it wherever you want, so it can stand by itself. And then the new table / shifter mount, so you have a spot for your shifter, e-brake, any of that stuff, and then you also have a little bit of table space. On the other side is the keyboard tray, you put your keyboard, mouse, and all that. It pivots on 3 points, so you can move it clear out of your way when you're not using it, or tuck it right in when you need to communicate with your keyboard. And
those monitors look rock solid up there.
They really do. That's one of our big changes that we did. Is we used to fabricate the arms and our brackets, and it was really nice and cool, but it was a lot of work, and it took a lot of work to get them to line up. So we switched to using the aluminum profile. This is 4080, and it's very strong, and the alignment is precision. It's precise. It's perfect. And it only took a few minutes to do it. It didn't take a really long time. And we kind of switched to using some SimLab monitor brackets. And also, those things are unbelievable. It only took a few minutes to line everything up absolutely perfect. So we're really impressed with that.
Did you had one of those SimLab units you were showing me earlier?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so we started using these. I searched high and low for a couple of years to find the best brackets possible. And nothing has even come close to these things. So when we found these, they are expensive. But like I said, they're really cool. The adjustability is phenomenal, and it only takes a few minutes to do it, and you got them set. So you set it and forget. So those are really nice. We're really happy with that. And the monitor mount, you can add 4 if you want, but because of the roof, it's a little difficult. You'd have to like kind of punch your way up and to see that 4th one, so it's not always feasible. So this one has 3 here. Let's see here. Another thing we started using aluminum profile in the pedal plate and also the seat frame. So now you literally have like 10 inches of combined adjustability in the pedal plate and also the seat. So, and not only that, but you can mount just about any seat to it in a few minutes. So that makes things a lot easier on the fabrication side, but once the customer gets to it, you know, they can really fine tune their seating position, their cockpit position in a few minutes rather than having to. It was a chore before, but now we've simplified it, and it's a lot cleaner look. And not only that, but most of it's hidden. You can't really see it within the bodywork, so you still have all the icon signature features, but you got the plus side of all the adjustability of the aluminum profile. So we're really happy with the changes that we've made to that. And another little cool thing about the R1 Pro Elite is the roof. Designing the cockpits, we wanted something that give you that snug, constrained feel like you would in an actual race car. But we wanted to come up with something that made it a little easier to get in and out of, so this was our solution.
Oh, check that out.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Now you can get in and out of that. It's a little bit easier. You get back in it, you just close it down, lock it on you, and you're ready to rock.
I mean, the thing looks like it's going 100 miles an hour just sitting there. I think you said before, Preston, it just needs a set of wheels and away it'll go. It's just crazy.
That's right, and that's what draws to me. Like, I'm a sprint car guy, and that thing, it looks like a sprint car chassis. I mean, not exactly, but it gives you that feel, and definitely makes you want one.
Yeah. One thing we'd really like to be able to do is make that like a mechanical top, so you literally just press a button and it comes down and locks, and another button and it opens. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I get carried away when I'm designing because I'll design something that the customer has asked for, and I'll start into it, and I'm like, wow, this would really be cool if we did this. And then I do that, and I'm like, well, this would be really cool if we added this to it. And before you know it, I've gotten way carried away on a build that he's paid for a certain amount of money for, and now I've done all this extra stuff for him, and which is great because they show up and they're blown away by it. But I have so many ideas; it's hard to stop sometimes.
So you had said about you do the whole thing with the Space Odyssey music and so
yeah.
So will you be doing that and the fog machine and all that stuff?
Well, actually, the photos got leaked out earlier this week, and he's more of a paved oval guy, so I was kind of hoping he wouldn't stumble across the pictures on some of the dirt. Some of the dirt channels on there, but he did. He found it, and luckily he was blown away by it. He really loved it. But usually what I do is after, like during the build, I'll send them pictures like, okay, this is the progress, this is where we're at. But once I powder coat it, I stop all pictures, and I don't show them anything until they show up to build that anticipation and excitement for them. So then when they come inside, I usually got like lights, strobe lights, fog machine going on. Yeah. Sometimes I'll play, depending on, how they are. Like today I was actually going to do the 2001 Space Odyssey, something really dramatic when they came in. It's okay. It's fun for me. They don't care,
That's just what a way to find your machine. So we don't want to give away anything here, and we want to point out it was not us that leaked those photos. But
no, sure, it was one of my team, one of the guys on the team, and it was okay. He worked too hard at promoting Icon and stuff like that, so it's really okay. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. So we know you got another build coming. We don't want to talk about it in detail, but it's going to be another kick-ass project, and we're going to have to have you. We're going to have you back on when that comes, because show us the progress. As it goes. It's awesome to watch that thing getting built, but. We'll have to see something for the unveil of the next one too, because these things are just getting better and better all the time. This is just
That's true.
And haven't seen all the details. Like, we're limited here right now because Rob's using his laptop, but he is going to use his cell phone and do a closer, detailed look at some of because there's a lot of detail here that we can't see, and look forward to having that, and we'll get that on the podcast as well as on the Hometown Heroes. So Rob and Icon Sim Sports are the title sponsor for Wednesday night's Hometown Heroes, our new project that everybody we talk to, this thing is getting legs, and it's just really appreciate you stepping up for us, and we're proud to have Icon as a sponsor, especially when we see products like this. There is no hesitation that this is somebody we want to endorse, and it's just wicked, man. So thanks for coming on with us for this, and keep us up to date on all these machines, because these are just like unbelievable.
So I do need to know one thing: is if I were to buy one of these, is there any way it can show up on my credit card transaction as like Sears or something, so I don't get in trouble over it?
I have a friend who's pretty good about stepping around certain things, so I might be able to do that. Yeah.
So let me ask you a question, because I don't think I've asked it before. So like the rig is spectacular, but when you ship it, is it shipped as parts and they assemble it?
No, usually it's designed to come completely apart. And so the original idea was to be able to ship it in boxes, stuff like that. But it turns out it's actually much cheaper to leave it assembled, to crate it and ship it freight, than it is all these individual boxes and this big giant put together for some people to do. And so it's actually much cheaper just to ship it almost completely assembled, and shows up at your door, and you bolt on a table, monitor mount, and lock down the seat, and you're pretty much ready to go. So.
Cool.
So here's a question. So would that fit in the back of a Dodge Caravan?
It sure would.
It would.
Sure would. Yep. Yep.
Okay, man. Because then I could save all that shipping, up to Canada and stuff. So that would be and
no problem.
That's awesome. So again, thanks for coming on, Rob. We've been dying to see, like we've seen it progressing, and I can't wait to see your the other next video you take of it with some of the detail, because there's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of stuff we're not seeing here, and it's just quality from top to bottom. So
thank you guys. The next one's going to be really cool too. The next one's called the Patriots.
Okay, that's all we'll say. That's all we'll say.
Right there. The
we want to have a big unveil for that too, Ben. And
Nice.
So it should be good. So thanks again, Rob, and you should get some video of when the owner walks in and sees it. It's still going to be, even though he saw pictures. Yeah,
it's a great idea. All right, thank you guys.
Okay,
thanks, Rob.
Take care, buddy.
Appreciate it.
See you guys.
That was that's a pretty sweet rig. I mentioned off the air that I'm pretty interested in getting one myself, but have some convincing to do. They're certainly not they're not budget rigs, but they are high quality. I mean, you kind of look at it and you know it's the last rig you're going to need, right? So that's my thing. I've been through 3 or 4 ones I built myself, and then I bought like a Playseat Evolution or whatever it is, and but nothing I've used compares to something like that. I definitely look to get a hold of one of those. But anyway, so we Roger and I just wanted to talk a few minutes before we jump into our other guests, we'll call them. These are predominantly informational. Our executives join us here to talk about things we've got coming up for this next season, going over slight changes. So we'll get to them in just a second. But Roger and I wanted to discuss a little bit before we jump to them about what changed as far as Unlimited and Outlaw. So if everybody's familiar, and not everybody will be, we had essentially 2 divisions this past season in our league. We had the Outlaws, which was our division that we've had really since we started.
Yep, the original.
And then when we started running the Elite division, which I guess was 2 seasons ago, when we started that, we had to change so that we had an Unlimited without an I rating cap, which went against really what we started. Our intentional, or our first goal was to be the predominant intermediate league, which required us to have an I rating cap. But we did away with that for the Unlimited division. And Elite went so-so this last season. Car counts fell off a whole lot. The racing was good most nights, but we had some nights where it was pretty poor, really. So we had to make some decisions, and what we decided was that we were gonna stop running Elite, because it ended up that it wasn't that much different than our Renegades division on Monday. It was predominantly the same guys.
And Renegades was better racing.
Right, exactly. And we did have a handful of other guys that were showing up. So we obviously don't want to just blanket, you guys are completely done. We appreciate you coming out running, but that's it. So what we did was we developed a list of the guys that were in Unlimited but not in Outlaws already. And as an executive committee, we all went through those and just reviewed them. So unfortunately, not everybody will be grandfathered in, but after that review, some of those guys are going to receive an invite to the league based on just a number of different categories, that kind of thing. But with the goal of getting back to an intermediate league, right? So our I rating cap is going to go up from 2,000 to 2,500. So even for new people coming in, if you had a 2,200 I rating and you weren't eligible this past season to run Outlaws, that's changed. So now you can apply to Outlaws, and you'll be able to run with us on Monday nights. And then we have the guys that'll come over from our Unlimited division as well. And so, Roger, you can talk more about how they'll be facilitating that getting into that league, I guess.
Yeah, so Bill Calder and I have been working, basically we looked at the Unlimited League, who's not in Outlaws. And for the most part, like 95, 98% of the guys are invited into the league. There's a few guys maybe that had severe IL issues, or were chronic time in the with the review committee. There's a couple of guys who are exceptional racers, and great guys, but they're just they're so good, they're dominating everything they race in, which isn't good for the league, and their I rating is just so high. So anybody that's over 2,500, so anybody below 2,500 that's in Unlimited, which is most of everybody, will be brought in as long as they don't have any outstanding issues with review. And then over 2,500, they're reviewed on a 1-by-1 basis. And the ones that are accepted will be grandfathered in, just like we have guys like we got a few Renegades with. They're up to 4,000, but they started the league at 2,000. They've just gotten better, and I'd like to think a lot of that reason is because of the league. So it'll be the same thing. We'll grandfather them in, and we'll be going back to trying to be the best intermediate league on the iRacing platform. So that work is in progress. Everybody that's being invited into the Outlaws. So all the races pretty much will be Outlaw races now. It'll simplify everything. Anybody that wasn't in Outlaws, there will be an invite pending. So if you go to leagues, well, I'm looking at the web because I have no idea where you find on the beta UI. But on the web, it's just go to leagues and pending requests, and you'll see an invite there. So we'll be sending a whole bunch of notification out for that. But that's it's a big change. Again, a lot of work because we've been reviewing all the individuals. So that's coming up.
Yeah, so, all that being said, and again, these are kind of things that, again, they're complex. We talked about some of this. You'll hear us talk about it with Shorty. If anybody has questions, I want to open the door to feel free to message the league on Facebook. And if it's related to this kind of stuff, you can message Roger or I personally. We'll be glad to kind of walk through, what the situations are if they come up. But for the most part, it's pretty straightforward. So if be on the lookout for those invites. We're going to go ahead and we're going to jump over and we're going to talk to John Heine first, and then we'll kind of shuffle through the other guys on the executive committee. So if anybody doesn't know who's on the executive committee, you're about to find out. We're going to talk to each of those guys now, and then we're going to get to John Short, who talk a little bit about the stuff on the review committee after we talk to Bill Calder and Jeff Barker. So we'll close out the show with these guys. Again, I recommend if you're at this point and This may not be the hilarity and entertainment you're used to, but it's all really good information that you're going to want to know starting the season, just tomorrow, really. So take a listen. These guys have a lot of good information, and we look forward to seeing you out on the track.
It's one-stop shopping here, so you don't have to go looking all over for the information. It's all you're going to get it all here. So pay attention.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. And we're here with Executive Committee member John Heine, one of the key members of the league, and does a ton of stuff in the background. But we brought John on to talk about a couple of things new this coming season. And John, I'll let you talk about the midgets. The midgets were running on Tuesday, and we're taking Tuesdays off. And we were going to kill the midget program, and what happened?
Well, I just know that we've got a group of guys in there that actually run really well together. I mean, I'd like to see the field a little bigger, but it's been really good racing this past season, and I think everybody's actually enjoyed that class tremendously. So I came to you and threw myself on the mercy of the big dog there and said, hey, can I do something to keep this alive? And we're going to move it to Friday with a couple different things instead of just going to 4 tracks and rotate them around. I think we're going to 8, and we're only going to see if that schedule is okay. We're going to run Lima twice, Chili Bowl twice, and bookend the season at Lernerville, which I think was one of the more fun tracks there with the midgets. So hopefully we get a couple more on board to run it. But anybody that out there wants to come run it, like I said, it was a really good group of guys, pretty dedicated guys that ran it week in and week out, and the racing was really good actually towards the end of the season. When guys started getting used to running together, that racing just really became really, really good at the end there.
Yeah, and getting used to running the car. I know, I'm always at the back, but it was that once you got a handle on the car, it's such a fun car to drive, and I was enjoying it, and it was a good league. It was just, how are we going to do all this? But, we had this happen last year where we were going to get rid of Pro Lates, and you and Kyle Parker and I think Dan Blau, fought us on it. And it's been thriving on Friday night. So I think we've got a real good combo on Friday with you guys running that show, and looking forward to it. But the other opportunity is the midgets will be showing up on Wednesday night at least once on the tour of our hometown heroes. And that's the other thing we wanted to talk about is I think it's probably one of the most exciting things we've done as a league since its inception, and the whole concept of hometown heroes, one track. And do you want to talk a little bit about that, or you want me to get going on it, or what do you want to do here?
What's really unique about what we're going to be doing on that particular night is, as far as I've seen, there's nobody else on the platform doing it. That's number one, and that's a really cool thing to. I mean, while it's scary, because we don't have anything to go on as precedent, so we're going to learn together. But it's really cool. 1 week, on a Wednesday night, we show up at the same track just like you would your local track, and we're going to have 2 divisions bookend, 305s and the 410s. And then we're going to bring the midgets in, the prolates in, the renegades in, this touring series, just like you occasionally would get your series that would come into your tracks. But then we're going to take it a step further and try to get the audience involved and do giveaways. We're thinking of doing like a pick the podium challenge. So, those that are watching. So guys, get your wives to, watch, get your girlfriends, your brother from another mother, get everybody you can, because you might walk away with, I'm using an example, but, maybe an Amazon gift card or something like that, if you can pick the podium correctly that night. So there's going to be some involvement. It's going to pay to watch, hopefully, for somebody every night. But, the big picture of that, though, is we're going to do honor our first responders. We're going to, raise awareness for different causes through the season. Not that we're going to, not that you have to give every week, but just, hey, cancer awareness, autism awareness. So, you never know who's in our community that might be affected by those things. And it'd be kind of neat if we can get some people to volunteer, maybe their story to go along, with that night and everything else. So, it's going to be a fantastic night. Our sponsors, between our sponsors, between the league members, the drivers, you've got a chance here to be really part of something that's really unique and really cool. And like I said, if you get everybody to watch, hey, you never know what you might walk away with at the end of the night, So, I mean, it's going to be really neat to see people get involved on a weekly basis and stuff like that. So hopefully it fills the chat boards up of the broadcast and brings people in there. And most of all, I hope everybody enjoys it and has fun.
Yeah. So you're mentioning one of the things that we've been really excited about, at least between Roger and I, is that, we broadcast, at least this week or this past season, we broadcasted almost every night of the week. But this one is going to be 3 different races that we broadcast on one given night, right? So you've got a 7 o'clock, an 8 o'clock, and a 9 o'clock. It's a full show. It's going to be awesome. So you're going to see drivers that run in all 3. It's going to be a lot of fun. And like you said, it's extremely, or I hope it's very unique, and we're able to provide something that people haven't seen before.
And I think, a few other things to add, too, is Icon Sim Sports has stepped up huge to be the title sponsor of the night. Joe White will be doing the broadcast with OSRN, and Joe is, I think he's the perfect home track announcer, and he'll also be will be having, and we're saying 7, 8, and 9, but it's actually not. It's one broadcast, and the races will flow one into the other. So if one ends at 7:45, then the next one will be starting. So there's going to be a little bit of adjustment for the drivers, but we're just so excited about the whole concept, and we're trying to have just a fun night with it, and it's going to be just awesome. And like you said, every night's going to be for a different night. It might be ladies' night, like coming up to Mother's Day. We're going to have a kids' night coming up to Easter, and I've talked to Adam Ross, that's Connor Ross's dad, who's an announcer at Oswego and stuff, but he runs these sessions called Mindwell Sessions. And so we have a mental awareness night, and he'll be involved in that. So we can't say enough about all the things we got planned, and it's just and we keep coming up with new ideas. And anybody out there that has any promotional ideas that we could do, send it to us. As wacky as it is, we've got the street stocks coming in once or twice for 75 or 100 lap enduros. We might even have like a demolition derby in the pits. Me and Bill Calder and a couple of guys were in the pits the other night, beating and banging, and I think we're going to test it, but we might even have that. And I got to speak up for the old guys. The retreads, we're on seniors night. The retreads may show up, maybe feature only. We'll keep it short, but they, it's a great group, and so we've got all sorts of crazy ideas, and I think it's going to be great.
That retreads race will be a 20-lap double feature, so you'll do 20 laps, take a break to pee, and then come back and do 20 more laps.
So the conversation was the other night is that Viagra would sponsor that night, and races would be 20% longer. So we'll just see how it all turns out. So we're gonna get John to reach out to Viagra and see if they're interested.
Oh, yeah,
get involved.
I'm not even sure how that call would go here. I mean, we're not only supporters, we're users. I don't know,
I'm not going there. I'm not touching that with that football.
I'm out.
But anyways.
Well, you're one of them that are in there, so that would have to be your tagline, not mine. So whatever I'd set you guys up with.
Yeah. So anyways, and I guess that's that announcement too. The retreads will be they'll be running 2 matinees a week, and they'll be have full standings there. It's just a phenomenal bunch of guys. We have so much laughs, and the feature starts. It's a reverse. Everything's reversed. Everything's inverted. So it's
I found that out.
And protests aren't
today.
allowed. Yeah, protests aren't. If you protest, that you're gone. We don't want you. So it's a unique group of guys, and that's gonna be. But yeah. So Wednesday night, I want to get back to that because I have never been so excited about something. It might fall on its face. I don't know. But we're going to start out with the 410s at night and 305s in the first one. And if they're not getting the driver support, then we'll do something different. So that's the plan. I think they'll go, but if something's not working, we'll replace it. But we were planning on a Legends tour, so we would have a throwback night with the Legends, and they would come in for 3 or 4 races.
And the UMP mods.
And the UMP mods.
No.
Garbage. That's the worst car on the sim. Let me tell you, it's garbage. They ruined it.
I know they drive like late models now.
They don't. They're worse than their late
Which I
models.
kind of like. No, they're.
So the plan was to have the UMPs, but yeah, that's kind of on the table right now with everything we're seeing on the message boards, and about the new improved UMP is not new, and it's new, but it's not improved. So we'll find out what happens there. But anyways, we've got it's the same track every night. It's just going to be and it's going to be at Cedar Lake, which is just reminds me of that hometown track. So that was voted on in a poll, and Lernerville had an early lead, but then Cedar Lake came back, and I think it was 37-23 or something. So anyways,
I wish you guys could have seen the Gambler chat when that poll was going on, because half of us wanted Lernerville and half of us wanted Cedar Lake, and I'm going to bet you all the teams through the league had the same things going on.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, Gambler almost came off the rails. I thought we were going to split up over this one, so it was a good debate.
No, and I would have been happy at either one because they're both a natural fit for what we're going to do. So, anyways, it's really exciting, and I'm really excited to be working with you on this, John. And we got to come up with some wacky ideas, and Preston's got to have a couple of good ideas there sitting and lurking in the back.
He needs to earn his keep. Yeah.
I feel like I've already presented a couple ideas. My favorite, hands down, is Throwback Night. Right. So
that was yours.
For Throwback Night, you run throwback paint job. So if you want to run a throwback NASCAR paint job, that's great. If you want to run an old Sammy Swindell #1 channel lock car, you do that. Do whatever. But all I'll say is contact your local wrap company, whoever that might be. I hope they don't charge you too much, and they'll get you set up. That's all I'm going to say.
Yes. Yeah.
Now we know why you wanted Throwback Night.
Yeah. My team looks great. I'll give everybody a clue. Just go to Facebook, go to Epsilon Sprint Wraps, check them out, send them a message. They'll take great care of you.
Now, I'm going to squash that because I don't want to use this wrong. There are a lot of guys. There are several guys in our league that do a great job. Ross Carenta does a great job. I will be glad to help you out, but any of those guys will do a great job for you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I do, but
yeah. Ross did my paint when I first came into the league, and
what the hell?
No, job on it. Yeah. He did. We got NSM Wraps that's also come on in support of the league. So, I mean, you can check all these guys out on Facebook. So if we do that, I'm sure any of these guys will set you guys up, and you'll come out looking real sharp on the end of it.
I think what we do too is we get all the wrap companies to offer a discount for Throwback Night. That would be good too, a good promo on their part.
You son of a bitch. No, you know what?
So anyway,
I will say that, and I'm going to challenge the other wrap companies that work for our league to do the same. I will give anybody that wants a throwback wrap for Throwback Night, I'll give you 50% discount, and I'm going to challenge Velocity and all the other guys, NSM and the other guys, to do that as well. So that you heard it here first.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, so he did. He came up with something.
They're going to be so pissed at me.
Yeah, they'll be pissed.
Yeah, now you got to figure out whose rap I want to throw back to. That's especially that that'll be fun actually. Pretty cool deal.
Yeah, I think we've got some great ideas, and I think as the season goes, we'll come up with more. This is going to morph. It's a total experiment. And we'll adjust it as we go to refine. But I think it's going to be a winner. I really do. I'm totally excited about Wednesday nights for sure.
Me too.
Yeah, I am too. And I'm not gonna lie. When I first heard about it, I was like, man, that same track every night. Then when you guys started telling ideas of what you were gonna do, it took all of 2 seconds. I was like, oh, this is different. This is gonna be fun. So anybody that could be on the fence, I don't want to drive the same track every week. With everything going on and the different things coming in and out, it's going to stay fresh every week. And, like I said, we're going to have some good causes there and everything else. So, and I don't know if you guys had talked about this too much, but you guys were talking about doing, having a pit reporter, possibly doing in-car interviews, under caution and that kind of stuff. So it's going to be a very interactive thing. It's not going to be us just circling the track. Well, I mean, drivers through the field are going to have their chance to be part of the broadcast every week, and stuff like that. It's going to be fun. And I think that's going to come through on the broadcast. And I just encourage everybody to make sure they show up and just have fun with the rest of us.
Yep. And to do with that, too, Connor Ross, who's Father Adam, is a track announcer and does a lot of all the NASCAR races in the north. Connor is going to be our pit reporter, so that should be exciting, and looking forward to Connor's a great kid, and
yes, he is.
He was at a consolation today in the matinee race, and he ended up with me and Bixter and Gary Taylor. There was about 6 of us, and I told him, I said, all the pressure was on Connor, because I said we're 4 times older than you are, all of us, like. So
and his response is, I made a rookie mistake, and I was like, no, Connor, you choked.
Yeah. But anyways, and I just want to take an opportunity, John, to thank you for everything you do, from the review committee, being on the executive committee, helping to make some tough decisions sometimes, and all the admitting you do. You're a key component in this league, and just want to thank you for everything you do, and your team that you bring along, because you're all good, clean racers, and we love having you guys.
And not to mention, your team contributes to the league too, so we appreciate that as well.
Yeah, that's right.
I tell you, the guys on the team, Steven, Aiden, Mike Redding when he's present, Connor. I am very lucky, and Zach Chapman has joined. So I mean, it's it's fun to be part of the league, and we're having fun together being a part of the league, and so it makes it a lot easier to volunteer the time, because you can see that it keeps the league going and stuff like that. And just thank you guys for putting up with us, and then maybe even some of my crazy ideas that I shoot you guys in Messenger, and I'm sure you've had a few times where I've shot things and you guys roll your eyes, and that's okay. So but it's all good. It's all good, and it just, man, every day it's kind of cool, because every day is almost something new, as crazy as that sounds.
Yeah. Well, so thanks for everything you do, and thanks for coming on, and look forward to seeing you on the track in 305s or whatever we're running that night.
Absolutely. I look forward to it, and like I said, thank you guys for putting on the league and giving us all a place to come play and hang out. Meet some interesting people too.
Yeah, that's for sure. You got to wait till you Joe Backus interview. That's interesting people right there. Anyway,
Well, the way you guys teased it, I can't wait. I mean, I got to wait till Sunday, and seems unfair.
Yeah, appreciate it, buddy.
yeah,
Yeah,
thanks, buddy.
You guys have a good night. Thank.
Okay, so what another thing that we're thinking of doing, again, it's not written in stone, is we're looking at making the recruiting races fixed 305s rather than 360s, because we may get a lot of people coming into the Outlaws that sprint cars are not their forte, and we're thinking that the 305 might be a bit easier for them to ease into the sprint car league.
Yeah. So the challenge here is that especially when we amalgamate everybody, and we used to do this before as well, but everybody was usually targeting the Monday night league. Now with us having NASCAR and some asphalt stuff and even the skippies and that, they're not always in a sprint car. So 360 might be a handful for somebody that could have a good Irish, but they never drive them. So we're thinking the 305 may be a starting point where, it's a car that you can handle. All we're looking for really is people's driving abilities. Like, do they back off? Do they, are they going to run through a guy to get somewhere? We can still see their habits, and that's really what we're doing, is just looking for clean racers and do they not get on the mic too much and stuff like that, or tell us their first night out how to run the league. So, all those things will still work. But, so there's going to be a few changes here, and bear with us. But I know Calder is already, Bill is a workhorse. That's the only way to put it. So Bill does all our social media stuff, pretty much most of it. All the post-race media stuff he does. And then looking after recruiting. So you think, okay, recruiting. Well, since January 1st, I think we've got like 170 applications. So he's a busy boy, and for a lot of new guys, anybody watching this, you'll know Bill's the first voice you hear from in the league. He's the first contact point, and he does a yeoman's job. So he's already. We've just finished. I say we, but most of this was Bill. I put together a few spreadsheets, but if you don't race for a season, we take you out of the league. You have to reapply. So we've done that. Otherwise, we have like 900 members or something. So we've just cleaned out our master spreadsheet that keeps all the names and the addresses and all that stuff. He's cleaned out all the leagues, the web page. So it's a multi-step process, and now we've got this amalgamation going. So we need to make sure, okay, the guys that aren't in Outlaws, they're coming in. If they're under 2,500, probably it's almost a guarantee they're going to be invited into the Outlaws. So we've got to do all of that work and send out 100 or more the invites to the league. If you're over 2,500, then you'll go before the executive committee is reviewing anybody over 2,500 and making sure that where their IL is, what kind of racer they are, et cetera, et cetera. And I think it would be safe to say most guys will get in, but there'll be a few that won't for various reasons. So we're really going back to, we did the experiment where we made it wide open. We ran the Elite Series, and that kind of didn't work out that well. So we're taking a step back to being an intermediate league again, but with the higher tolerance for the IL. And again, just a reminder, all those guys that are in Outlaws, if you're grandfathered in, and that's what will happen with a lot of the guys that are over that, they'll be grandfathered in. So once you're in, we're going forward.
Yeah,
anything to add to that?
That's the thing is the hard part's over now. Now we get to the impossible, and that is cleaning out that dirt unlimited league. And Roger and I have already talked about it. I've given him a suggestion of what I'd like to see, and he's agreed with me. And So it's hopefully we'll have all this done before the season starts, and it's just going to be a lot of work. It's something that I don't mind doing, and Roger's the idea man, I'm the doer, and that's all there is to it. It's been like that for the last. I worked with him for 38 years, and he was like that, and it's been like that ever since. So we both retired in 2008, and
he's been spending your money ever since.
Oh man, that's
spending it. I'm good at two things: spending money. I come up with great ideas, and then Bill makes them work. So that's really what's happened, and we've been a great team for almost 50 years now. So it's great, and it's great to see Bill. Bill is back in the cockpit. He's had foot surgery and was gone for how many seasons did you miss?
3 seasons.
Three seasons. So you just get.
I came into the league in November of 2019. I raced till February, and then I just couldn't take it anymore. So I haven't been racing for a full year. And
then you beat Roger today. Let's point that out. You beat Roger today.
He won. He didn't just beat me. He beat everybody.
Yeah, and I know winning's great and all, but for Bill, and I can't speak for Bill, but I would wager that beating you at this point is right up there with winning too.
I beat Roger in another race a couple of weeks ago.
You did. That's right.
It's no big deal.
Okay. Well, it's just par for the course these days.
Well, I bet. And then Gary Taylor's in there today, and the consolation comes up, and he says, "Oh, Roger, you want me to spot for you?" So that's really what that's saying is, "Oh, you slowpoke. I transferred, you didn't." So it was a very subtle kick, but we had a lot of fun in those stages. So, Bill, what do you plan on running next season now? Will you be doing the hometown heroes on Wednesday, the 305s, or anything?
I certainly I'll be doing the wrestlers, of course. I certainly want to do the 305s, so I'll do the hometown thing. I've got to really balance it out because my situation, but I find it hard to do 2 races in a row. I did that today, and I spent the rest of the day with my foot cramping up on me. So I've got to space it out, but definitely 305s I want to run. 410s I don't really care for. Maybe a couple asphalt races. I love the 358s.
Yep. I can't remember if it was the Cup or the pickup. I think it was the Cup the other day. You were in there, and you're struggling with your foot and all that. But we ran, I think, like 20, 30 laps. There was 4 of us, and you were down low, and I'm waiting for you to lose it and come up into me or whatever. You held it. It was awesome. It was that. It's funny, Preston? Like there's guys at the front. They're out there to win, and for me that was a highlight of the day. Just see it running as a pack, which is always exciting. I don't care if I win it in the NASCAR thing. I want to run in the pack for at least a little while. But there was 4 of us, older guys. 3 of us at least were older guys running in this pack, and we pulled it off. We never wrecked. I think we just went in for pit stops at various times. But so it's great to see you back out on the track, and
for sure,
can't say enough for everything that you do. We don't appreciate you enough, and just that thanks again, and thanks for coming on here and talking about some of it.
Well, believe me, it's a pleasure. I don't do anything that I don't want to do. I never have, and I can help out. I enjoy helping out. I enjoy doing the grunt work. I enjoy doing that, and like I told you before, other than the racing, I've always been a follower. Now I'm more than that with the racing because I beat you twice now.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Anyway, no, it's been a pleasure, guys. You 2 guys are workhorses. I'm telling you, what you do is phenomenal, and I'm just so happy that I've been able to help you out.
Everybody comes on here and swells up our head. You know that, Roger?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's that's why I put a hat on to keep my brains inside.
We appreciate it, Bill, buddy. You do more than you take credit for sure.
And I appreciate the recognition that I'm getting for it, and but I would do it even if you were not giving me the recognition because I love to help.
Excellent. We appreciate it, buddy.
Okay, thanks a lot, guys, and we'll see you on the track, Raj. And Preston, maybe. And Preston, maybe.
Okay. So we're here with another executive member, a key member, a guy that keeps us on the straight and narrow, Jeff Barker. How you doing tonight, Jeff?
Good, Roger. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Great job tonight. We just came off the track a while ago with race number 2, and you admitted that, and I really appreciate you stepping up for that. And that was a pretty good race tonight.
Yeah, it was a good show. The guys did really, really well. You can see why they're the cream of the crop.
Yeah, for sure. And tomorrow's going to be interesting as well. But what we got you here to talk about is a few things coming up this next season. And you've been running the Skip Barber series and doing a great job at that. And just want to talk a little bit about what you got planned for the coming season. Where are we going? Where will the tracks be, etc.?
A lot of the same tracks will be repeated. I got 2 new tracks coming in. We run in the Legacy Silverstone track, one of the shorter ones, not the full length one, because then no one would ever see anybody. But one of the shorter versions of it. And what was the other one? Hang on, I wrote it down.
Yeah, I know what it is.
Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve, i.e. Montreal. That'll be our our championship race.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we always go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, we always we've typically brought in one new track each season, one purchase track. Everything else is free or it's from previous seasons. So championship this just past week was Long Beach, and that was a pretty good race, I thought.
Yeah. The top 5 cars are really tight on lap times. It was a good race.
So I want to ask why the Canadian Grand Prix track and not the Circuit of the Americas. I just putting it out there.
Not conducive to skippies. The Circuit of the Americas it's huge, and the skippies are not fast.
Oh, I asked that question assuming Roger had made the decision because it was a Canadian track. So never mind.
Silverstone.
That really backfired on me. Continue.
It's going to really backfire on you because you know why? One key reason why I thought we should go to the Montreal circuit was because when we announced that it was Long Beach, your dad went and bought Circuit Villeneuve by mistake. So I thought, okay, there's one guy at least doesn't have to go buy a track. So it's partly your old man's fault. So there. But speaking of your old man, hey, Redneck Racers, me and your dad finished 4th in the Constructors' Championship. 4th. We so overachieved it wasn't funny. And we had a great strategy for Long Beach. It's usually our strategy anyways. Stay out of trouble, and we'll just move up the ladder. And that worked. But it was a fun season, and can't wait for next season. Hopefully we get some competition for Bob Light. Bob.
Yeah.
Bob's a great
He's
guy.
fast.
And he's fast, and I've just found some history out about him. Like he is almost like, I don't know if you call him famous, but a remote control race driver out of Kansas that was on some professional teams and stuff. So I think we got to get him on the show sometime to talk about that because the guy has a real history, and he's a big name out there in other fields. But he's totally dominant. It's fun to watch him in the Race of Champions. But the other thing we wanted to talk about, so the Skippy series is it's been alive and well. We had some great car counts this year. Geez, we had a couple. I think we were up in the 30s.
Yep.
So you're always racing against somebody. Glad to see you're picking the Silverstone, the shorter tracks that keep somebody in sight or in your rear view or something.
Yeah, you don't want to get all lonely while you're racing.
No. But I'm excited for that. And but the other one too is I wanted to talk with you about the Dirt Modified. So this season was our initial season. We had great response. We had all sorts of new signups for it. And we ran 3 divisions. Got a little bit thin because some guys were maybe reluctant to run the big blocks. And plus, with us, we were just kind of eyeballing what division should somebody be in. Well, we've got a season under our belt now, so we know where people go. And this coming season, we're going down to 2 divisions. So the first one will be the Sportsman or 358, the small blocks. That'll be the B division. But the A division is going to be the 358s and big block modified. So people have a choice. So coming out of, especially the guys who be transferring that aren't used to a big block, they can just stay in the same car. You're a great person to talk to about this because you've been on the track in those situations. So tell us a little bit about how that, how they work and how they compare.
Well, the small block actually gets a 100-pound weight break. It's already assigned by iRacing or by Dirt Motorsports, actually. It's a couple hundred horsepower light of the big block, but it's 100 pounds lighter in weight, actually. So on some of the smaller tracks in testing, we've actually found that you can go faster with a small block at like Lima Land or Cedar Lake or something along that size. So there'll be some strategy involved for actually picking your car, whichever car you want to use on that given night too. I wouldn't think that if we go to Bristol, you're probably not going to win with a small block, because of the size. But some places, you're going to find it a lot easier to drive the small block setup for the fixed setups because it's going to be fixed setups for both. The small block setup is a lot more easier to drive than the big block setup. Big block setup's a little top heavy, so takes a little bit of getting used to. But so if you're not uncomfortable with big blocks, just come in and run the small block, and you'll probably be all right. They do it in real life, and except for horsepower tracks and qualifying, they run pretty good. Once the track slicks off, they're pretty close.
So you've been on the track actually with the big blocks yourself?
Yes.
So and you found like you're competitive? Where was that?
I didn't win. I didn't win. I'm not famous or nothing. No, I've driven Sportsman and small block at Orange County Fair and Weedsport.
At Weedsport.
Yeah.
So but I'm thinking Weedsport may be one of those tracks where the smaller car might have a better shot.
Yeah, because it's really slick, and it's just easier to drive, and that it's that simple. It's just easier to drive, so you make less mistakes.
Now it's going to be interesting. So both cars, when you go into a session, it'll be asking you which car do you want, and it'll be up to the driver which car they want to race in that race. So I think that's kind of a cool deal that we'll be doing, but. Also, I think divisions will be much more leveled off just because we've got a season under our belt, and that'll be on Thursday nights as it always was, at 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock, and broadcast by Advantage TV. So, looking forward.
And with the
to
amalgamation, that. I think we'll see a lot higher car counts for both classes actually. So we'll keep them up there around 26 to 29 cars a night probably is what I'm expecting to see.
Well, what we were seeing in the past season was a little bit reversed. It was like a pyramid, and really what you want is a reverse pyramid in a way. What I mean by that is a 7 o'clock race, we would have 30-plus cars, and then it dwindled as you went up. So that was the issue. I think part of the issue was we put like all the renegades in the big block division, figuring they're the better drivers. But what turned out is they don't really care about driving the big block, so they weren't showing up, and that was. I think part of that issue where we weren't getting full car counts, but I know we were getting 30. I'm in that division, and for me to make the feature was a big event, and to try to transfer. I transferred one night, but my IL was .02, just like on a Monday night. So, but that's the way it is. So, really looking forward to that, and can't wait, and I want to thank you again for everything you're doing for the league, man, because it's
anytime.
It's much appreciated. So just want to thank you for coming on, and
check out our Skip Barber series every Sunday, 8 p.m. We start out, we get a 45-50-minute practice, then we'll do a 45-minute race after that. We do have one pit stop. It's a good time. Come on out and race.
Absolutely. And we're here with the Vice President of Competition, the guy that everybody hates, John Short. Shorty, how's it going, buddy?
Pretty good. How's it going, guys?
Good.
Excellent. So we brought you on to talk about all the stuff in and around the review committee and what's happening there, some of the changes that are going on, and you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we're really just kind of reworking it a little bit with all the protest only races, or most of the races going to protest only, other than the sprint divisions and the modified divisions. So we're kind of dialing back the responsibilities of the review committee and trying to focus a little bit more on the our bread and butter races, the ones that are more competitive, I guess, and tiered. So we're trying to look at those a little bit more with the review committee, and with the protest only, hopefully we won't have a slew of those, and we'll be able to stay focused on the other ones. But I think we're spreading a little too thin, and not putting our best guys on some of the races, and so we're hoping to kind of get some more uniformity between the reviews and try and be consistent. And then we're probably what we're thinking is to get rid of the warnings. I don't know if those are really sending the right message, other than we were trying to flag guys that were being having control issues and causing issues on the track, but I'm not sure that was we were accomplishing the goal that we were set out to do. So we're going to try and dial those back, and just stick with the heat EOLs, feature EOLs, and suspensions, and if something happens, we got points that we can adjust for car numbers and such. So those are kind of what we're going to hit, and just kind of go back to what we were doing, and just try and keep it simple.
Yeah,
Whatever.
I think the warnings thing, I guess the issue with that was that it really didn't show itself and the function it was serving until like the last week of this season, when guys had enough warnings that they were getting a heat EOL because of accumulation. But I think that it was a great intent, and I think maybe it got misinterpreted by guys, and we thought maybe it'd be better just to drop it off, and it's either a heat EOL or it's not, and going forward. So
yeah, I mean, we could have probably dressed it up a little bit differently and made it sound better, but a strike or a warning but it's the same thing. It's, guys are getting warned about something they don't remember half the time, and because it's a week later, and sometimes it just causes more issues and causes guys to get
I think the warnings were supposed to be for things that really weren't that big a deal, but we just thought was worth keeping track of to make sure there wasn't a pattern. But I think what ended up happening is guys see their name on the penalty notes, and you kind of take it personally, like you did something really wrong, and that wasn't what our goal was, but that was how it came off.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, it was probably something we could keep track of behind the scenes, but it doesn't need to be public if we really have some guys that are causing control issues or causing issues on the track. We'll continue to monitor that, and if we need to assign penalties because of that, just because of continued issues, that's what we'll do. But I don't think it needs to be publicized, just because it's probably not worth the drama.
So on top of all of the review committee stuff, we've had you trying to get straight before the new season starts. We also, Roger and I brought you in to help us with the division realignments, which usually Roger and I do ourselves. So do you want to talk a little bit about the headache that is?
I tell you what, I have a real appreciation for what goes into that now. I sit behind the scenes and kind of question some decisions on who goes where before. I'd never publicly addressed it to you guys probably, but I was looking at guys like, why are they in this division? But looking at it, trying to create a method that addresses points and attendance and IL and try and get enough guys in certain divisions. It's a real headache when you get down, especially after you get down to like the Rebels Raiders range. It's pretty tough to assign guys, because some guys are skilled, but they're just not. They're not running enough, or their ILs are high, and it's like, well, they're going to easily transfer out of this division, but we got to set a precedent somewhere. But it's an interesting process, and I've grown to appreciate the work you guys were putting in for that before.
I got to say, I thoroughly enjoyed this week watching you guys go back and forth questions and stuff. I would just sit back and totally enjoyed it. And the the exciting part for you guys is, we still haven't done the dirt modifieds, which are going from 3 divisions down to 2. And so we've got that to look forward to. And we're recording this on Saturday morning, and we got to have this. Well, at least that one doesn't need to really be out till later in the week, but we can't be releasing it like the night before. So, So I did send that spreadsheet out to you guys. I haven't had any replies yet. So when can I expect that?
I hadn't seen it yet, so I guess we'll be working on that today.
Yeah, I think that's probably a weekend project here. So I'll grab a couple beers and sit down and take a look at it. But
well, I think the good thing out of that, especially the dirt mods, because last season we just did one of these. Like, okay, we put all the Renegades in big block because they're good drivers, but then a lot of them didn't race or whatever. Some weren't comfortable there. So now we have a season to base this stuff on. So I think it'll settle out, and only 2 divisions. I think it'll settle out a lot better. For sure, it's going to be much better distribution than the first season, which was really just a pie in the sky, take a shot at it.
Yeah, and actually that probably makes this one a little bit easier, just because.
Oh yeah.
We still have a little bit of, if we put a guy in the wrong place, it's because we don't have enough data, right? So yeah. A little bit less pressure, I guess.
And I think it's good to discuss this, because I think everybody needs to understand that, especially on Monday night. I mean, that's we're in our 8th season of those, and it takes us long because everybody is carefully considered, and it's not just just slap the okay, that's good, let's go. It's everybody's looked at as an individual and then compared against other guys, and it can be a long process for sure.
Yeah, and the process for doing it, I mean, we kind of like spelled it out this time just to make sure we didn't miss anything. It is complex. I mean, you have to do some stuff in a very specific order to make sure that you're not moving guys the wrong way, and it takes some time. I think we all, at least I know I did it probably 2 or 3 times just to make sure it started falling in the right place. And so it's multiple drafts. It's not just one, let's get together on this. We do it individually multiple times and then have to come together and agree on stuff.
Yeah.
But I think it's certainly, and I'm sure we've overlooked a couple things again. I know still the last thing you look and you got a guy in 2 divisions still because you forgot to take him out of the one before you moved him to the other. But there's all that. Anyways, I think we got that one. We're good. And people watching this on Sunday morning, if you haven't been contacted already from the Monday Night League, anybody moving up will be contacted. Asked, do you want? You have the choice of not going up, but if you don't go up, you can't transfer. So it's. I think most people want to go up. Everybody, aspires to moving up. I mean, that's the whole deal. For me, it's always just trying to stay where I am. But anyways, it's a good process. I think that a fair process that we've done.
And if you have questions about, and I know there'll inevitably be some, you can ask. I can't promise right at the start of the season that we're going to be able to give you a lot of detail, but we can explain to you why you ended up in a specific spot. So if you have questions, we'll be glad to answer.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Just the last thing before you go, Shorty, was probably the best place to discuss it is the numbering system. So what we've said this year is the last 2 digits have to be full size. The first digit, if it's a 3-digit number, the first digit can be half size. And it can't be like number inside number and all that sort of stuff, because it makes a nightmare for the reviewers to go through and try to identify. And the broadcasters. The broadcasters have trouble trying to figure out, reading a number and somebody made the last number small or didn't even put the number on or whatever. So this season, they've got to have the last 2 digits full size with the option of the first number being half.
Sounds good to me. Yeah, well, I think you talked about continuing the points penalty. I mean, what we were addressing at the end of the season was 20-point penalty lost if you weren't complying. I don't know if
that's a change for this season. Yeah.
Yeah, the change for this season is you'll be asked to park it. So if your number does not comply, and we spot it during the race, we know that in review sometimes, if a guy's running another paint, it'll be up. That's the paint that'll show up. But in the race, if you have the wrong number, you'll be asked to park it until you can show that it's been resolved. Through a paint update or whatever. So,
Okay.
yeah. So there's that one going forward. Anything else we need to discuss with? Well, we got Shorty here.
I don't think so. I think that pretty much covers off. I mean, for the most part, the review committee process and all that isn't changing. That's in pretty good place. We just have a couple rule changes, and then it's all just prepping. This has been a short week trying to get everything prepared, and the race champions going on.
Yeah, I don't think we'll do that again because it just got too crazy. It's just too much going on. And then the last, I'll just sort of bring this up, but we have talked about having a store. And the one item, if we do open a store, the one item, and probably could be the top seller, is we will have a dartboard with Shorty's face on it, and it might be a hot seller.
Don't tell my wife; she'll probably want that.
Let me write that down so I can get that out there. That's funny.
Nobody wants that ugly mug in their house.
Anyways, thanks for coming on, John, and it's always great talking to you, and whether it's here in the Discord room or whatever. But
yeah, we look forward to complaining to you here in a couple weeks when the penalties start coming out.
All right, sounds great.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Thanks, buddy.